Patreon.com/the Walk-Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there. What's missing on this team moving forward? We just touched on Whit Merrifield's role at second base. You think, sorry to put words in your mouth, he is going to be more or less our full-time second baseman / utility superhero when needed? We had Jeff Blair on the podcast about a week and a half ago, and he was under the impression that another move is to be made, a right-handed outfielder to be brought in. When he spoke with Dalton Varsho on their podcast, the Blair and Barker Show, Dalton Varsho referred to Whit Merrifield as their second baseman. Now, could just be a slip of the tongue, but it is interesting to note that when he's talking about, we got Vladdy at first, we got Kiermaier in center, we got Whit Merrifield at second. I mean, there's something there, right? Maybe we're reading too much into the tea leaves, but I think there's something there. Jeff Blair thinks Espinal's gone. He thinks there's a trade coming, and Espinal makes the most sense as the piece to be moved. When you look at what's missing on this team, where do you start? What's your priority if there's only one more move to be made this offseason?
Me personally, I think it's completely conceivable that the Blue Jays think this is their team going into the season. And if there is a tinker to be had, it's more trade deadline. You talk about that fourth outfielder. I think that's the obvious place to start. Dalton Varsho, as excited as I am about Dalton Varsho, we would only ever want to have open, honest conversations about Blue Jay baseball. And it is very open and honest to fully admit Dalton Varsho has struggled against lefties. That cupboard is almost bare. He needs to improve there. Kevin Kiermaier, not great against lefties. So I definitely think if you're the Blue Jays, you want a right-handed hitting outfielder that mashes lefties. But my point, I wonder if they see that as Whit Merrifield every now and then spelling these guys, especially if Espinal and Biggio remain on this roster, because now you have second base and you have Whit Merrifield out there. So on the surface, I get the idea that the Blue Jays need another outfielder. I just wonder if they think it's already in-house. Now, Jeff Blair would know much more about it than I would, right? So there's some smoke there. If Jeff Blair's saying that, there's clearly some smoke there. My point on this, Adam, and it's not a great answer, I admit, but it's honestly how I feel. I will not be surprised if the Blue Jays make another move, and I will not be surprised if this is their team going into spring training and they use the season to evaluate things and then the trade deadline, especially if Santiago Espinal is your guy that's going to be traded. I mean, what would the offers for Santiago? Everybody's second baseman is locked in right now. I would like to see spring training play out. Now a contender second baseman goes down. Well, we've got an all-star second baseman right here that's almost a spare part. Let's talk trade. So even if Jeff Blair is right and Espinal is the guy to go, I just don't see it happening anytime soon. That's in the outfield. Infield, I love. Catcher, I love. If you want to talk fifth starter, we can get into something like that as well, because I think that's something.
We're going to get to that towards the end of the show.
Okay.
I'm with you there. Not super comfortable on the fifth starting pitcher. I don't think any Blue Jays fan is. We'll just put a pin in that for now, and we'll circle back to it towards the end of the show.
Now, what about the bullpen then? Can I talk bullpen now then?
We could talk bullpen.
Okay. Because that's another area where I wonder if, because all we hear from the Blue Jay fans is, man, need another flamethrower at the back of the bullpen. Man, need another flamethrower at the back of the bullpen. And I rant about this as if that's the only way to get out. But anyway, anyway, let's get back to the subject here. But I think the Blue Jays may think, it's very conceivable to me anyway, and I know Blue Jay fans don't want to hear this because it's the fourth season in a row we're saying, hey, Nate Pearson could be that missing link in the bullpen. I get it, Blue Jay fans. Fourth damn season in a row, I get it. I just don't think it's ever been more applicable than this season. A lot of the injuries with Nate Pearson, Adam, that have been some fluke. In other words, it's not like a shoulder issue that we know is going to reoccur. That was my issue with Michael Conforto, right? The guy's down to one shoulder and he hurt it on the swing. Like, I'd be so scared that could pop up at any given time going forward. Pearson doesn't have injuries like this. He's had a lot of bad luck injuries. So I actually do think it stands to reason that he can be healthy this season. And I think that he could be that missing piece at the back end of that bullpen. Zulueta, they've got a few guys that, again, I'm just going to go back to thinking of the Blue Jays brass. They may be sitting there saying, yeah, Craig, I hear you. Another bullpen arm, I do hear you. But Craig, let me tell you something. We've got the options in-house. Same with the other outfield option. I wonder if they think the option exists in-house. So again, I'm right back to, I won't be surprised if they make a move, but I won't be surprised if they don't, Adam.
Yeah, I'm with you. AAA is maybe stacked is too strong of a word, but
it's getting there.
Significantly deeper than it's been in recent memory.
Yes.
Which is exciting, especially the way bullpens are handled. in the MLB these days. Uh, AAA is the extension of the bullpen, right? You need to have arms. Guys are coming up and down. Starters don't go as deep, so you're using more relief arms. Having 5 guys in AAA that I feel comfortable pulling up for any given week,
Great
that's a
point.
real luxury to have.
Yeah. You know what, Adam? You just described the Tampa Bay Rays. We gush over the Tampa Rays organization. You just described the very Tampa Bay Rays type of thing right there. And I love that.
Well, walk-off community, I hope you enjoyed that little clip. This full episode is going to be available on our main channel sometime in the next few weeks. However, if you can't wait for that, you can get the full episode right now available on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/the walk-off podcast.